What is up, and I welcome each and every one of you back to a brand new video. Last week we looked at the top 5 best unique units. Today we are looking at the top 5 worst unique units. That is right. Before we get started, I hope you're all having fantastic days. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Did I tell you guys to subscribe? Because that is something you should definitely be doing. Without further ado, let me just, small disclaimer, alright? Small disclaimer, so I don't get my head put on a pike tomorrow morning. When I look at the worst unique units, I am looking at a few things. Number one, deity difficulty. Obviously, it's like that's the game I play on. I'm looking at really the higher difficulties of how effective a unit can be, because you could use a unique unit to conquer the world on like settler difficulty, no doubt about that, but it definitely changes later on when the AI has massive advantages. I'm also not including naval units because naval combat is just non-existent in this game. Yesterday I did a modern naval combat thing with Rome. The AI never builds naval units. It never uses the 1 or 2 naval units it builds properly. So all in all, naval combat is just kind of a joke in Civ 6, not even a joke. It is just kind of like the whole killer clown thing that happened a few years back. It's supposed to be a joke, but quite honestly not very funny, and it gave half of us absolute cancer. So, with all those disclaimers out of the way, let's get started with number 5. We have Poundmaker's Cree, the unique unit that replaces the scout. It's an ancient era scout, replaces the scout. It is stronger than the scout. It has 20 combat strength versus 10. It has a free promotion, and it is 10 production more expensive. So, I mean, I don't like scouts in general. This thing has 20 combat strength, which you might be thinking, oh yeah, you could use it to clear barbarians. No, because it's already hard enough to clear it with a warrior who has the same combat strength as this unique scout, which is, it also has a +5 combat bonus against spearmen, whereas this scout doesn't. So you're not going to use this to clear, trust me, you are not using the scout to clear barbarians unless you're on like settler difficulty. The free promotion is nice, but the fact that it is more expensive kind of makes up for the extra exploration you'd get, because obviously scout promotions are meant to help you explore better. So really, it's just kind of useless. Like, I'd rather build one for the era score. Like, pretty much the only reason you're going to build this is the era score. Warriors are much better. Just build a warrior to clear with the barbarians and to do your exploration. Plus, the warriors can be used to upgrade further down the line, you know, maybe a swordsman rush or something. Whereas these scouts upgrade into the ranger, and we all know how good the scout line of units is. Absolutely hot garbage. Yeah, but before we continue, let me know down below who you think the worst unique unit in the game is, and whether you want to crucify me or not for putting your favorite unique unit on the list. But without further ado, let's get to number 4, who is going to drum up a response down below in the comments. In fact, I would not be surprised if I woke up tomorrow with 0 subscribers after YouTube decides to ban me because I put this unit at number 4 worst. We are looking at the hoplite. Yes, let me explain. Okay, I'm looking at straight up unique units, right? I'm not looking too much at the bonuses, I guess you could say. I'm looking more at the units. Like, obviously something like the hoplite, if you use the Thermopylae unique bonus, it's passable, but there are so many things wrong with this unit. Number 1, you have to have an adjacent spearman. Right? You have to have, you can't, break 2 people apart. So what happens if, your archer's getting attacked by an enemy horseman, and you have to break apart your hoplite? You know, that's number 1. Number 2, right after the hoplite technology is the swordsman technology. And swordsmen, without oligarchy, without a great general, crush the hoplite still, even if there are 2 beside each other. Obviously, swordsmen are more expensive and require iron. But not only that, these guys get decimated by archer fire. They don't even have, the tortoise promotion they could go. They're just going to get decimated by archers. The other thing is, hey guys, real quick before we get right back into the video, the goal is to be bigger than PewDiePie by the end of about, next week, I would say. That's a fairly attainable goal due to my assertions. But yeah, if you enjoy my content and want to help me out, subscribe, and let's get right back into the video. There's a lot of things. The other thing is just that it just sucks, man. It doesn't get the great general bonus. If you get a great general, you're not going to be able to use it with the hoplite. I tried going for a hoplite rush. It just doesn't work on the higher difficulties. Plus, if the enemies get walls, these things get absolutely melted by walls. They're really just not the best unit. If you have one hoplite adjacent, it is about as strong as the swordsman. except it gets a combat debuff against the swordsman. So pretty much you're going to use these guys to have a slight combat strength bonus against horsemen, I guess. I guess, and you could obviously talk about getting the promotion for the hoplite that makes them like more combat effective against swordsmen, but then you could say the exact same thing. The swordsman can also get a promotion that makes it more effective against melee units in general. So it's just like, it's not that good. What are you going to use it for? To kill cavalry units? I guess if you somehow spawn near Grand Columbia or something, it could be useful. But like if I'm using cavalry units against hoplites, I'll just pepper them with archers and like not attack with my cavalry units. So really, it's just they're not mobile enough. They don't get bonuses from great generals. I think they do get bonuses from oligarchy though, so there is that. They don't require a resource, but then again, iron isn't the hardest thing to find. Really, like, it's just, man, like if you're playing Gorgo, I guess you can make them work. If you are playing Pericles, no chance. If you build a hoplite as Pericles for anything other than defense or era score, you're playing them wrong. Do not build hoplites as Pericles, and even as Gorgo, meh. But without further ado, let's get into number 3. We got the Crouching Tiger, the Leering Lion, the Juxtaposed Jaguar. We have the Chinese Qinshi Huang's Crouching Tiger. It's a medieval era unique unit. I don't think it replaces the crossbowman. No, it replaces the crossbowman. It has a range of 1 and a higher combat strength. So the range of 1 is helpful. I think what they meant to do with this is like to build Great Walls as like a defense and have the Crouching Tiger stationed on the Great Walls. But these things really, like, they're not going to be used for offense whatsoever. Their offensive capabilities are absolute trash. It's just absolute hot garbage for offensive capabilities. But the range of 1 is just, that's the thing that kills it. If they just made a stronger Chinese unit, maybe make it a little weaker than it is now, and give it a range of 2, that's fine, unless you're willing to make it as strong as the knight or the man-at-arms. In that case, it would be way too broken. But it's just like, it's not that good of a unit. It's 1 range. That's really all it has to say. The high combat strength doesn't really make up for it, which is why I have this unit as the number 3 worst unique unit. Number 2, we have the Mario Chariot Archer. Yes, the Mariano Chariot Archer of Cleopatra. Now, you might be looking at this and saying, it's pretty good. It's a ranged unit in the ancient era. That's pretty good. 4 movement speed when starting in open terrain. That's pretty good. But then you look at the cost and it is twice as expensive as an archer, and then you just have your jaw open like a fucking cartoon character on the floor. How can it be this expensive? It is so expensive. It is literally twice as expensive as an archer. Now, let me ask you this. Are you going to use Mariano Chariot Archers for offense? No. Why? Because if you're going to go for offense, why waste all that time going for Mariano Chariot Archers and building them when you could just go for horsemen or swordsmen with battering rams? It just doesn't make any sense. So then you're going to be like, okay, they're going to be used as a mobile sort of defense. Kind of. It has to have 4 movement speed on open terrain, or else it'll have 2. And you might be like, okay, but they start near floodplains. Okay, but like there's still going to be forests nearby. There's still going to be hills nearby. There's still going to be a lot of stuff nearby. So you're pretty much getting 4 movement speed 70% of the time. Like, let's say 70% of the time, right? 70% of the time you're getting 4 movement speed. It's a little bit stronger. It's like almost as strong as the crossbowman, if I believe. But if you're going to use it for defensive purposes, why not just build 2 archers, right? Who's going to win in a fight? 2 archers or 1 Mariano Chariot Archer? It's going to be the 2 archers. Who's going to win in a defensive battle? 4 Mariano Chariot Archers or 8 archers? Not even close. So, yes, they might be stronger, but they're not twice as strong as the archer. If they were twice as strong as the archer, then they would be a C-tier unit. Well, not C-tier, quite honest. If they were as strong as the archer, they would be an A-tier unit. But considering that they are just a little bit stronger than the archer, and having 2 archers is better than having 1 Mariano Chariot Archers, if you're playing Egypt, build 1 guy for the era score, and if you need defense, just start spam building archers. That is a lot better. That is why I have these guys as the number 2 worst unique unit. Just so expensive. My God. Like, you might as well take out a loan to just, like, you might as well. It's even more expensive than a college loan, quite honestly. I'd rather have to go through that headache than having to go through building Mariano Chariot Archers. It is just disgustingly bad. Expensive. Sorry, it's still not that good. Before we get to the number 1, I have 4 honorable mentions I do want to talk about really quickly. These 4 honorable mentions, they're not bad, but like I'd say like only the top 5 I've listed are really bad unique units, but these guys have something that make you scratch your head and go, in what world would I ever, in what world is this better than just the regular counterpart? The first honorable mention we have, who would be, I guess the way this works is the first honorable mention is the worst unit, if that makes sense, and the last honorable mention is the better unit. But the first one we have is Hungary's, what's it called again? The Hussar. The Hussar. Okay, the Hussar. Let's talk about the Black Army real quick. Black Army's really good. 3 combat strength for each levied unit. Plays into Hungary's purposes really well. But if you're going to use the Black Army, and if you're going to use levied units, how many alliances are you going to have? The answer is donut. 0. Nothing. You're going to have as many alliances as I have bitches. Non-existent. Right? So the Hussar, like, you get 3 combat strength for every active alliance. It's not going to happen. There is no way you're getting 1 alliance unless you don't build the Black Army and you don't use their early game combat. If you don't go to war up to this point, fine, the Hussars are passable. But even then, you're only really going to have 2, maybe 3 alliances, which is, that's pretty good, I guess, but like the Black Army gets 3 combat strength for each levied unit. Levied units are cheaper. It's just an all-around good thing, especially if you have Himiko. So, like, the Hussar is just, like, it's not bad. It has extra combat strength in the Corsair. It's like 65. Corsair's at 62. It's like 10 production more expensive. That's like nothing at this stage in the game. 3 combat strength for every active. Like, really, you're just paying for, like, 3 combat strength, pretty much. So, it's like, it's pretty much a Corsair unit, which is still pretty solid. But, I mean, as unique units go, it's just... they are better. Second honorable mention we have is the P-51 Musty Tang. Yes, the P-51 Musty Tang. The problem with this is it does come later, number 1. Number 2, it's a fighter unit. Most of the time you're going to want to have bombers because the enemy AI really isn't going to build that many airplane units. It gets 5 combat strength against fighter aircraft. That's really like almost never gonna happen. You're not fighting fighter aircraft with the P-51 Musty Tang. It's just not gonna happen. The 2 flight range is pretty solid, as is the 50% experience. But really, flight range doesn't matter as much. Like if you're gonna go across continent, you have aircraft carriers. If you're gonna go to war with someone, presumably they'd be right beside you. Otherwise, you'd have to deal with loyalty problems. So you can just put these guys in a city, anyways. So the 2 flight range is again really situational, not as situational as the combat strength against fighter aircraft, but still situational nonetheless. And you gain 50% extra experience, which is probably the one good thing about this ability. It comes too late. Its abilities really aren't that good, and that is why I have it as the second honorable mention. It is still a plane, so it's still going to be decent. But if you're playing America, why not just build bombers? If you have somebody who does build a few aircraft, build some, like at that point, build a mobile SAM or something, I feel like is a better idea. But, you know what, it's a solid unit. It's just like, the fighter in general is a solid unit. The P-51 Musty Tang is just a tiny bit better, pretty much. Third honorable mention, we have the Sokka from Avatar Horse Archer. Scythian general is a really good civilization, but really, why are you building the Sokka Horse Archer? It has a range of 1, so unless you're going to be able to kill the enemy you're attacking, especially on the higher difficulties, you're absolutely going to get bent over, and you and the horses are going to get absolutely mutilated, pretty much. So the Sokka Horse Archer is pretty disgustingly bad. 4 movement speed, just as much as the Horseman. A range of 1, just as much as the Horseman. It has a ranged attack. Like, if it was as strong as a regular Horseman, I guess you could say it'd be good. It would be like the Persian Immortal, right? But the fact that you could build 2 for 1, same thing with the Horseman. Why are you building horsemen? Why are you building these guys instead of horsemen? Air score would probably be the one thing, but when you're playing Scythia, just build horse. It's not worth it. Don't build the Sokka horse archers. But the fact that they are like a horse archer in general, you could like swarm people and like take them out in one shot is why it's not like the top 5 worst unique units, so I guess that is pretty nice. Finally, for the last honorable mention, we have the Incan Warcock, the Warcock. Yeah, it's the Warcock. It's a medieval era unit that does replace the Skirmisher. And like I said, the Skirmisher line is so bad when it comes to unique units. The one saving grace they have is that it has an additional attack per turn, which is pretty damn fantastic, especially on defense. Again, the ranged is 1, so that's why they are so low on the tier list in general. But I mean, the extra attack does mean, like, as a defensive purpose unit, you fortify on high terrain, you just get like 4 attacks in at once. You can absolutely decimate enemy units. Yeah, that's all we have for the honorable mentions. The number 1 absolute worst unique unit in the game. Atrocious, disgusting. I'm not going to say any other words because I am afraid Twitter would take it too personally. We are going to go for Robert the Bruce's Highlander. It is so bad. So bad. Let's talk about it. It replaces the Ranger, industrial era unit. It is a little bit stronger than the Ranger. Look at Robert's face in this photo. Robert's face in this photo is everybody's faces when somebody says the Highlander is a solid unique unit. It's just disgust appears on your face. It's nasty. In fact, if I was a hitman and had a hit out on my absolute worst enemy, I wouldn't even allow them to play the Highlander from Scotland. That is how bad the Highlander is. It gets 5 combat bonus on fighting in hill and forest terrain. Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? 5 combat strength and fighting on hill and forest terrain? Are you kidding me? That's your unique unit of Scotland? Like, why not have a unique man-at-arms or like a unique musketman or something that has like +5 combat strength in your own territory, right? That could like make sense. Like that, not like that's like, isn't that what Robert did? Right? He like absolutely bent over the British and said, "Not in my house," and kicked them out. Like, why not have that as a unique unit? That'd be better. That'd be that's much better than the damn Highlander. The Highlander? What? And it replaces the Ranger too, so it's going to get bent over by any sort of man-at-arms or line infantry for that matter. So it really is just an absolute useless unique unit. At the very least, the Cree okihtcitaw, the Cree's unique unit, the okihtcitaw, it's a scout replacement and it gets a free promotion. I guess that's nice. The Warcock has an extra ranged attack, so it can be used much better on defense. I guess that's nice. But the 5 combat strength is like putting a door with no sort of like housing around it. Like, they could literally walk around the door. 5 combat strength, it does not even matter to a line infantry at that time. It's just absolutely useless, and that is why I have the Scotland Highlander as the worst unique unit in the entire game. Thank you guys so much. I can't even speak right now. Cut the tape. I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys really did enjoy, and if you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys have anything you want, just let me know down below, right? What is the worst unique unit in your opinion? What sort of placement on this list made you want to absolutely lynch me? And what is your favorite unique unit? Not about the best unique unit. Which is your favorite unique unit that you just enjoy playing for some reason? I enjoy playing the Immortal unique unit, right? I love its mechanics. I know it's not like an incredible unique unit. It's not like top 5. It's not like Linero. It's not like the Petati Archer, but I just really enjoy playing the Immortal unit. Yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.